What is going on, comic book gang? My name is Jancy, aka You're the Collector, and welcome back to another episode of One World Under Doom. Technically speaking, this is only episode 12 in my channel because I'm only covering some of the tie-ins and the main issues. But if you want to know where this issue specifically stands in the big picture, this will be issue number 31 out of 62, I believe. So this is literally middle of the road for this entire event. If you want to find out what's happened before, check the playlist at the end of the video where you can get caught up with everything that's been going on with One World Under Doom, the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts. I might cover the Avengers at one point, not sure when that's gonna happen. As you know, this is a one-man show here at this channel. I do the editing, the voiceovers, the scripts. I read the books myself and then come up with ideas on how to, tell these stories to you guys. So I appreciate you guys being patient and tuning in every week or at least every time I drop an episode. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Issue number 4 is not a bad issue per se, but definitely weaker in comparison to the previous 3 when it comes to the social and political commentary by Ryan North. This issue for the most part is a mere collision of giants for the sake of the world. No big deal, right? As you saw at the very end of issue number 3, Dormammu came all the way from the Dark Dimension to confront Dr. Doom. But in all seriousness, we stepped from the political and moral connotations of this story to focus on the psyche of Victor Von Doom, the man, because this is the moment where Victor's resolve is tested the most. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four, have all come at Doom with everything they had and they fell short. Dormammu, on the other hand, seemed to have Doom's number. As seen in the last issue, the first thing Dormammu did when he entered this dimension was to take out all the superpowered people of Earth by teleporting them to the Dark Dimension. We're talking the Avengers, the X-Men, the Spiders, the Hulks, gone, all of them. Why fight your way to domination when you can just eliminate all threats instead, right? While everyone was disappearing, Doom casted 3 spells. The first one was to keep himself from disappearing like everyone else. The other 2 will come up and materialize later in this fight. This is Doom, or rather Ryan North, the writer, letting us know that Doom is playing the long game from the start. The first move Doom does in this fight, which if you know anything about Dr. Doom, you may call this his signature move. He faked out a frontal assault with a Doombot just to get an opening to flank Dormammu and hit him with 2 mullets made of construct energy from the Eye of Agamotto. I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. Doesn't matter, it's magic and it's effective. That's all we need to know. That's when you realized there were civilians watching. The fact that Dormammu left civilians to witness this assault tells us that he didn't just want to beat Dr. Doom, he wanted to humiliate him. Dormammu retaliated by summoning demons from the Dark Dimension. Doom stated that he tried to stop the demons from coming through, but he failed. His magic was not enough to break Dormammu's spells. That was the moment that Doom realized this was going to be harder than he expected. His confidence started to waver a little bit. Remember, up to this point, he had run wild and unopposed. No one had presented a challenge whatsoever. But Doom also knew that Doctor Strange and Dormammu have fought many times before to a stalemate. So Doom knew that Dormammu had become accustomed to fighting Doctor Strange's methods and style of sorcery. Dr. Doom came up with a new and more creative way of using the Eye of Agamotto. Doom started to borrow these signature moves from his own enemies. He said Flame On to cast a spell that gave him the power of the Human Torch. Then he casted a spell by saying Optic Blast, which gave him the visual prowess from the well-known X-Men leader, Cyclops. Then, he cites one of the most famous onomatopoeias in comics, Nick, which is the sound that adamantine claws make when they're drawn out by the Wolverine. Doom proceeded to stab Dormammu berserker style. Before he could finish this fight, a demon came up to Doom and tried snatching the Eye of Agamotto from him, and that was the opening Dormammu needed to get Doom off of him. Dormammu proceeded to create a bunch of clones and managed to overpower Doom and restrain him. At this point, Dormammu did the most disrespectful thing you could ever do to Victor Von Doom. He stripped him of his armor in public. Yes, I understand he also broke a leg and an arm before sending him to drown in a river, but I will argue the removal of the armor is pretty vile by itself. I already showed how this tactic had been used successfully before. You can check the previous episodes I've done for this series. Like I said, Dormammu threw Dr. Doom to this river to drown and be eaten alive by his demons. This looked like the end for Victor Von Doom, the Sorcerer Supreme. This next moment was very telling of where Doom's mind was. He refused to give up, plain and simple. You could read his thoughts as he was saying, "I have not lost," repeatedly, to himself to kind of psych himself up. He said, "I still have one good arm and one good leg," and he was trashing and struggling, kicking and punching however he could to fend off the demons, until he finally reminded himself that he never needed the Eye of Agamotto to make his will done. So he returned. Doom came out of the water, beaten and battered, but not defeated yet. Dormammu saw the flying corpse of a man and decided to rush in to put an end to Dr. Doom. As Dormammu approached Doom, time stopped. This was Doom's second spell. He had been preparing for it since the fight began. He casted the spell from his mind to stop time and give himself at least 1 minute. In that suspended state of just 1 minute, Doom took stock of his circumstance. He lost his armor, the Eye of Agamotto was in the bottom of the river, one leg and one arm shattered. He only had the mask and the cloak left. He was being held in place by Dormammu's magic, and his end awaited for him the moment the time spell ceased. For just a moment, Doom allowed himself to taste defeat, but before that thought settled in, Doom refused to give in. Not by choice, but more so by instinct, as in Doom's entire body rejected the idea of losing. So, Doom focused all of his will toward his arms, and the amount of pain he felt coming from his shattered arm was so terrible that any other man would have given in and stopped right there, but not Doom, for he is no lesser man. Mind you, these are his thoughts narrating this moment. So of course, Doom sounds like this undominable, unstoppable force of nature. He would not talk about himself in any ordinary ways. Regardless, he did manage to put up both arms just before the time spell ceased, and he managed to push himself away from Dormammu right when the time resumed. When Dormammu gained a sense of the situation, he realized Doom had used temporal magic, but this would not work twice on him. But that was game, set, and match. For Doom was not just fighting for survival, he was fighting to buy himself time, because the whole plan is coming to fruition at this exact moment. The third and final spell Doom had casted at the very beginning of this fight was coming to completion. Doom realized that Dormammu had isolated him at the beginning, so he secretly casted a spell to have an army of Doombots follow the heroes to the Dark Dimension. Why did Doom do that? Well, pretty simple and logical when you think about it. Doom knew his chances against Dormammu were slim, so he sent the bots to help the Avengers return to this dimension, so they would do what heroes do. Doom banked on the fact that once the heroes came back and realized the Earth was at risk, they will put their differences with Doom aside and join him to stop Dormammu. Like I said in the beginning, Doom was playing the long game this entire time. After everything that's happened so far, all actions, all battles, and all the schemes, and we never seen Doom's confidence falter nor fail him. Here, for the first time in this event, and in a long time for that matter, Doom thought he was a gunner. Just for a mere second. It cannot be stated enough how much was at stake and how much was pending on the outcome of this battle. When Victor was doubtful of his fate, it wasn't the sake of the world and everyone in it that re-energized him. Not even close. It was the fact that Doom would not accept defeat. Selfish or self-centered? Sure. But it was that willpower and delusions of grandeur that make Doom such a formidable villain. Whether he is as capable as he believes himself to be or not, that belief in himself is what makes Doom, well, Doom. And that's the conclusion of this issue. The Avengers are basically summoned from the Dark Dimension by Doom himself, and they're about to take on the fight of their lives against Dormammu alongside, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Dr. Doom. And with that being said, that concludes the episode. Let me know what you think about the One World Under Doom event in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed day, and remember to read more comics.